we're going to do today is get you started with the basics of how to be a bricklayer, how to spread mud. And so this first tape that we have is how to spread mud for block and basics on how to use a trowel. Now basically, this is the trowel. It hasn't changed in 5,000 years. Here is the handle. This is the shank. The wide part is the heel and the point of the trowel. Now, all through this class, you're going to hear me talking about use the point of your trowel. Use the point of your trowel. When I say use the point of your trowel, I'm talking about this part right up here. That's from here up. That is the point of the trowel. All right, now we're going to start off with the way to hold a trowel. Hold your hand out and you see the second joint on your first finger. That is where you put the shank. Now you put your thumb on top of it and just let it relax. This is called neutral. Now you'll hear us say bring the trowel back to neutral. When I say bring it to neutral, this is what I'm talking about. That's neutral. Now just sit and kind of play with the trowel a little bit. Kind of flip it around in your hand, get used to it. Now the first thing that you're going to be ready to learn how to spread mud for brick. We call it roll that mud. We're going to show you how to roll the mud. Now here's rolling the mud. You just take and cut some of it out, pick it up, throw it back in. Now the reason why you roll the mud is because when mortar is brought to you, it may be perfect. After 10 or 15 minutes of 90-degree weather, it'll get hard. It could be wet, soft. Your mud is going to be varying all the time. So the reason why you must learn to roll that mud is so that you can work anywhere in the free world. Now if you're working in a place where it never gets hot, then you can do it any way you want to. But right here, we're going to teach you how to roll the mud. Now, as you can see, we're going to teach you how to cut it out, throw it back in. Okay? Now what we're going to do, as you can see, that's a lower. In other words, that's what I just rolled off. I want you to stand there. You're right-handed. Just practice sticking it in. In other words, lay it down. Slide it in. I don't want to see you going. What we're going to talk about is we're going to go over everything that you've learned so far. However, we've been messing around here for an hour, hour and a half, and guess what? The mud has gotten a little hard. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to add water and shake up the mud. Alright? Get you a coffee can, take your shovel, knock your little hole in the top of it, pour you some water in there, and we'll talk about how to mix mud at a later date. But no two bricklayers like mud the same way. Some like it wet, some like it dry, so you're going to have to learn to, whenever you get to shake your own mud up, you can make it any way you want. Okay, we put a little water in it. Get a shovel. Notice a square tip shovel. Works best. Take and chop it up a little bit. Okay? And here we go. Now see how I'm turning it over and over? Alright. Very few bricklayers know how to shake up their mud. How to shake up mud, right? Alright, now what we're going to get into is putting head joints on these brick. We're going to talk about the proper way to hold a brick, how to turn a brick, how to flip a brick, and how to put full head joints. We're also going to get in full head joints on a roll lock or soldier cores. See, a brick is a funny thing. If you lay it this way, it's called a roll lock. If you lay it this way, it's called a soldier. If you kick them out every once in a while, it's called a sailor. But basically, everything that you do, once I show you these different ways to place a head joint on a brick, you'll cover everything that you'll ever need to know. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do it both right and left-handed. What you've got to understand is this is 3/8 of an inch. Now, in case you haven't noticed, in our school, we're all hands-on. The only classroom instruction you get is whenever I pull my tape out and show you the distance between my thumbs is 3/8 of an inch. Now, all that you're going to learn here is we're going to build a corner lead without a level. In other words, what we're going to do is, what we're trying to learn at this stage is to teach you to use your eye. To use your eye to see that things are level, square, and plumb. Okay? So what we're going to do, you're getting about ready to start moving on to a wall where you can go and start building a wall and laying to the line and everything else. So right now, before you leave the mortar board, I want you to build a corner lead using your eye. Probably 2 or 3 of them. It depends on what the instructor wants you to do. But there's nothing to it, so here we go. What you're going to be doing now, alright, we're just going to spread enough mud here for 3 bricks. Let's see. Alright. Now then, we're going to lay them forward and backwards. I'm going to lay that brick on the corner. Okay. We're going to butter that head joint, full head joint. We got it on there. We're going to use our eye. We're going to use our eye to build this corner. Good full head joint. There we go. Now let's just take a look at that now. That looks pretty good to me. All right. We're going to lay some brick, and we're going to lay some brick to the line now. Now this is a story pole. Story poles come in all kinds of sizes, shapes, configurations. This is what we use here at the school for our work areas. We're going to mark out a story pole for you here very shortly on this tape, but these are basically 6s. I'll explain the modular rule to you. As we go up, we put our line here, and as you can see, the line's on 6s. So every time we raise the line up, we'll be putting it on 6s. All right, we're going to lay this right over here. Here we go. Okay, remember when you're spreading mud, you always walk backwards. You're working by yourself. I'm going to show you how to lay them going forward, how to lay them coming backwards for a right-handed person. Over here on this wall, I'm going to do it as a left-handed person would do it. So all you right-handed, left-handed people, by watching this tape, you're going to learn how to lay brick forward, how to walk them back. But remember, when you spread mud, you always start forward and walk backwards, as I'm fixing to demonstrate. All right, now we're ready for the block course. Now, they make 2-inch block, 4-inch block, 6-inch block, 8-inch, 10, 12, 14, 16-inch. We're talking about how thick they are, 2-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch. Here at this school, we lay nothing but 6-inch block. The reason why we lay 6-inch block is because they're very hard to lay. Whenever you get out of the school and you start laying 8-inch block, you'll have no trouble. Your speed will pick up 30 or 40%, and they're just an 8-inch block. They're just a lot easier to lay than 6-inch block. All right, there's only 2 different ways to throw head joints on block. You've got to learn to throw head joints before you can start laying block walls. I think the key to laying block is how to throw head joints on. There's only 2 ways to throw them on. Now there's a few more, but I'm only going to show you 2 ways. Once you learn these two ways, you get out on the job working with somebody and they're doing it some other way, you'll be able to adapt to whatever they're doing. In other words, you got to always do what the person that signs your paycheck tells you to do. Okay? Reach in the mud, get you a trowel full of mud. Stand that block up. Now we're going to do a demonstration of. Okay, what we're going to do now is build some block leads. We're going to use 8-inch blocks. We're going to build a corner lead. We're going to build a straight, a jamb lead out of block. First, we're going to do a corner lead. Take a frame and square. You can see, put it down here. Got our marks to go by. All right. Now we're going to do a frame and we're done with the frame and square. We're ready to lay some blocks. Now what I'm going to do is go 5 courses. I'm going to lay 3 blocks this way, 2.5 blocks this way. All right, so you can get the idea of what's going on. All right. Do it just like you were spreading for your brick. Spreading for your brick. Go 4 feet. Okay. Now then, you want it to be 8 inches wide. 8 inches wide. Okay. Now then. Alright? What you got to do, gotta be sure you got a jamb, solid end. These are stretchers here. You want to see a solid jamb on the outside. Let's take a sleigh one. Okay. Now then, stand that baby up. Got a little joint on it.